Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, I'm currently up here in Scotland filming with the brand new Kia EV9, and there's going to be a video on that on Monday. And we've recently surpassed 100 million views on this channel. I started this 5 years ago, we've nearly hit 350,000 subscribers. But yeah, I thought passing the 100 million views mark deserves some sort of recognition. So today, I'm going to do a Q&A. Right, let's get started then. Morgan Foster 2002 has asked, dream 3-car garage that includes a daily, a classic and some form of sports or supercar. Oh, there are so many choices there, aren't there? I would pick a Range Rover. For a classic, I would pick a 1964 Mercedes SL with a pagoda top. And a supercar, not that into supercars, but I'd pick something like a, what would I choose? Mercedes McLaren SLR, maybe. Maybe? What do you think? Right, next question then. In fact, these two are very similar. So Jeremy Sullivan 888 and Speakerboy 4425 have asked a similar question. So what prompted you to become a used car salesman? How did you get into it? I've always been interested in cars, always, and I started watching wheeler dealers and shows like that with Mike Brew and Ed China. But the show before wheeler dealers even, it was called Auto Trader, and they'd take a car, fix it up and then sell it. Or they'd have customers come in who were struggling to sell the used cars, so then they'd try and figure out why it wasn't selling. So often they'd replace a broken tail light, or give it a good clean, or that sort of stuff. So yeah, that basically was my inspiration, I think. Like I said, I was always into cars, so it just came naturally, I suppose. Right. Madness Central has asked, what's happened with Raffle Shack? Now, I did a post on the community page on YouTube recently and also on my Instagram story, kind of announcing that I'm no longer involved with Raffle Shack. I gave my shares back, so yeah, I've got nothing to do with it anymore. Basically, the main reason was, or is, time, just lack of time. I found it really difficult to juggle that with everything else, and I just kind of felt for the last few months as though I was just treading water with it. I felt almost like a caretaker manager. You know when a football club gets a caretaker manager just to keep them up? I felt like that. So ultimately I just don't have time for it. So I thought the best course of action really was to walk away from it and focus on what I'm best at, I think. So it's still going. They've got fresh competitions up, so check them out by all means. But yeah, it's not me anymore. Paul Gilliat 7829. What petrol cars would you recommend for reliability under 8k? You're probably best sticking with Japanese stuff then, really. They do know how to make a decent petrol engine most of the time. What would I recommend? Something like a Civic, a Honda Civic. If you want something smaller, Honda Jazz, Toyota. I know they're a bit boring, aren't they? But you did mention reliability, so something like that, I would say. If you need something bigger, then perhaps Kia Sportage, Hyundai iX35. They're pretty good. GR for Fun has asked, hi Matt, congratulations. My question is, are you surprised at the way your channel has grown? Yes, absolutely. I started this as just nothing more than a hobby, really, just as a distraction from my my 9-to-5 job. So I never expected it to be at 350,000 subscribers or 100 million views. So yes, very much so. Mark Lewis 9638 has asked, congrats man, I love this channel. My question is for you, what is your advice to get the best price possible for a car? Now, I did a video on this recently, or how to, I think it was called How to Sell Your Car Privately. And I listed all the ways, basically, to get the maximum price for your car. Basically, get it organised, get it tidy, get it clean, and you will get more money for it. It's as simple as that. But go back and watch that video, because I think you might get some tips from that. Dane Cowan 678 has asked, that's a brilliant milestone, well done. My question is, have you ever been nervous talking to customers? Is there a way of improving your communication skills with clients? I've had my own business for nearly 2 years and I still stammer and mess up with my words. I'm doing it there, aren't I? When I'm talking to clients. What are your thoughts? Cheers, Dane. Thanks, Dane, and good luck with your business. Yeah, I think I'm not a salesman at all. I never was a car salesman. I just kind of got into this because I was interested in cars, and so I'm not a traditional salesman. So I always would just go out to the forecourt or whatever to meet a customer, and just treat them like a human being and have a conversation with them and try and just talk about the car, talk about them, and just have a conversation with them. Really, don't try and clam up panicking, thinking, right, what can I say and what can't I say? Just be normal. That would be my advice, I think. Okay, this is quite a good one. Jean Laurens, apologies if I've said that incorrectly, from Indonesia. The best 3 colours of cars you've ever had. That's a good one, actually. I'm going to say straight away, Estoril Blue, BMW, that's a great colour. Oxford Green, also, BMW. Stornoway Grey, Land Rover.
That's 3.
I know that's 3, but there are many more. Rimini Red, Bonatti Grey, Friends Red, Italian Racing Red. Geek, right, let's skip to the next one. Okay. Peter BR has asked, what was your very first car? That was a Mark I Ford Focus. And which car do you regret selling the most? P.S. Keep up the great work with your channel. Cheers, Peter. There are 2 that jump out at me. They're not a particularly good car, but it's quite a cool car that I regret selling. I had a Jeep Wrangler, 1995 Jeep Wrangler that I kind of restored, changed the colour on it and all sorts, spent a fortune on it, a 4-litre automatic. And I kind of regret selling that. I sold that when I left Spain, and I wish I just tucked it away somewhere in a garage. Because at the time, I think I got something like 4 grand for it or something, and now you can't get them for less than double that. Saying that, I probably still wouldn't have it now, so it doesn't really make much difference. But I do kind of regret selling that. And also my 1998 XJR. I'm going to have another one of those one day. Maybe a black one or a green one. Mine was Carnival Red. I'm going to say Carnival Red. Okay. Rate 3931, I can only assume he's from Sheffield, has asked things to watch out for when buying a new car, some of the secrets. I don't know, because I've never sold a new car and I've never bought a new car, so I'm not entirely au fait with that. All I would say is new car salesmen make the majority of their money not on the chassis, not on chassis profit for the car, but on upselling paint protection, interior protection, wheel protection, tyre protection, gap insurance, all that sort of stuff. That's how they make the profit. So unless you really need any of those things, I would avoid that, really. Just stick to the car. Before we answer any more, I just want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. You'll have heard me talk about Surfshark before. They're a long-time supporter of the channel, and they're a VPN service provider. It protects you so that all your data and your details and your IP address are hidden, so cyber thieves can't view it. In addition to that handy feature, it blocks malware, phishing, ads, and other kinds of nastiness, which in turn can speed up your bandwidth and make your device stream things much more quickly. The last thing I want to do is get my card details stolen or my bank details hacked, and since I've been using Surfshark, touch wood, that just hasn't happened. But now they've got an all-new package called Surfshark One. Surfshark One's a complete subscription package, so it includes not only the VPN, but also the Surfshark Alert, Surfshark Search, and Alternative ID, along with the brand new Surfshark Antivirus. To get an exclusive Black Friday deal, all you need to do is enter the promo code HighPeakAutos to get up to an additional 6 months totally free. I've talked many times about Surfshark's VPN, but with Surfshark One you get several handy new products. For me, the really useful one's Surfshark Alert, which instantly informs you if there's been a data breach of your personal information. You can even link it to your credit card so you can be alerted if that's breached too. It just gives you total peace of mind. By the way, they've extended the Black Friday offer, so you've got extra time to benefit from this special deal. You get an extra 4 months of the Surfshark VPN plan, or an extra 5 months of Surfshark One, or an extra 6 months for Surfshark One Plus. All you need to do is visit surfshark.deals/HighPeakAutos. And thanks Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Hi Matt, well done. A lot of effort's gone into your channel with the help of the background team. Don't agree with that entirely. Dragon Games 12 has asked, what's your favourite car you've ever bought? I'm lucky really that I've bought loads of decent cars, loads of nice interesting cars over the last, 8 years or something. The ones that stick in my mind straight away, I bought a Bentley Continental GT and a SL55 AMG that I've still got from a really nice guy down in Devon a few years ago. He wasn't using them anymore, so we did a deal, drove down there with my brother and my pal and picked them up. So that was a really good day out. And 2 really nice cars. So yeah, I'm going to say those 2. Chidorius Maximus, that was Russell Crowe's character name in Gladiator. Congrats for the Q&A. What would be your choice for a large SUV in Europe? Think X5 Cayenne GLE, Q7 Touareg RX. What engine would you choose in 23-24? Would you still go for a 3-litre diesel? The thing is, I'm not a massive diesel fan, as I've mentioned in loads of videos, but in a large SUV it still makes sense. It makes the most sense. If you go with a petrol, you're going to be into high teens max, whereas a 3-litre diesel in something like an X5, you'll do high 30s. So yes, I would still say it makes sense really. something like an X5 you really can't beat, they're great cars. If you go with something like a plug-in hybrid, then they kind of work. It depends on your what you're going to use it for, really. If you're doing a lot of city driving, I would say go for a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. If you're up and down the motorway or you live in a more rural area, then I would go with the diesel. Tom G. Anderton 8187 has asked, "Hi Matt, what ended up happening to the low mileage red Golf?" Still got it. David Webb has asked, "Will there be a Christmas special this year?" Yes, there will. We're filming that very soon. Evo Robin has asked, "When is the supercar arriving?" It isn't. I'm not that into them really. Mikey Michaelton has asked, "Have you ever taken any of your cars on a track day, or do you consider doing one in the future?" I haven't done. I wouldn't mind doing that really, but I'm not the quickest of drivers. The closest thing I got to, I did an off-road day recently with a cheap Jeep Cherokee that I bought. There's a video on that next week sometime. That's probably the closest thing I've done to some sort of day out like that. Simon from Easy 4x4 has asked, "1, would anything make you move back to Spain?" Yeah, I would. I love going back to Spain. I love the weather and the lifestyle and the culture and everything else. But it's just really difficult to make a living there. So I would move back to Spain, but only to retire, I think. I don't think I could work there because it's really tough. Number 2, echoing some of the other posters, why don't you get your own mechanic and workshop? With your volume, you'd save a fortune. You're right, I would. I have toyed with this idea, but it's extra stress, isn't it, I think? Then on a Monday morning, I'd have mechanics phoning in sick and all that sort of stuff, and I don't know whether I can be bothered. Sometimes it's worth paying the extra and just subbing it out to a third party, and then you're not responsible for it. The other thing is selling used cars. If I were to have my own mechanic and there's a problem with that car a month later, people would assume that I've cut corners on it, whereas if I've hired a third party to do it, that's their responsibility, they're liable for it, not me. So I think sometimes it's good to keep some distance between you and the person that's doing the job, I think, basically. 6622 has said, "Hi Matt, thanks for the videos, really enjoy them. For a road trip, which car would you choose out of the following and why? Mercedes S-Class, 7 Series BMW, Audi A8, Jaguar XJ or Lexus LS 600? All of them are really good. I'm a big fan of those kinds of cars, so they've all got their pros and cons. The S-Class is just probably the king of them, really. The 7 Series is good if you're going to drive it yourself. I love the A8, the XJ is great. Yeah, any of them. The LS is particularly good because it's nice and quiet and well built. Torridon22 has asked, "If you could move back to LA, would you?" I don't think I would, to be honest. It was my dream really to live there, but would I go back? Probably not. There are loads of positives about it and I do really enjoy going back, but I don't know if I'd do it permanently. There's too much traffic, some of the people there are crazy. It's just kind of, everything's hectic and chaotic and it's not what I want anymore really. Mark Golan has asked, "Amazing milestone, congratulations. How do you deal with sticky stock? Do you send to auction?" Cheers Mark, thank you. No, I don't send stuff to auction. Everything, one of my colleagues told me this ages ago, everything sells eventually. So you've either got to tweak your adverts, reduce the price, sometimes increase the price, as odd as that sounds. Some cars are very price sensitive. Occasionally you'll take it off for a few days and then create an entirely new advert. Just change things, or you could kind of modify them, change the wheels. You can do certain things to move sticky stock. JB has asked, "Hi Matt, congratulations on the milestone. How did you get into setting up your own dealership? I'd love to hear more about the journey." And then somebody else has commented, he's already done a video on that topic. Yes, I have done a video on that topic. Basically, I've always been interested in cars. I mentioned this earlier, watching wheeler dealers and things like that. But then I actually got into buying and selling cars just as a hobby, really, just to kind of satisfy that. So the first car I ever bought was a 1999 Vauxhall Opel Corsa. I was living in Spain. And then did a few jobs to it, went to the scrapyard for a new wing mirror and lights and all that sort of stuff, cleaned it up, made some profit. That gave me a bit of a buzz. And then I've just done that, just repeated that for 15 years. David Marshall, congratulations on the views. Matt, question is, semi-automatic gearbox, is it reliable on the iGo C1 or 108? I don't like the semi-automatic gearbox, and I've mentioned this many times, they're generally not particularly reliable, but on the iGo, the C1 and the 107 or 108, they're not too bad. If they start to kind of not operate as they should, you can take them back to the main dealer and do a software update on them, and it makes them a bit better. They're not the most pleasant to use, but they're not totally unreliable either, like some are. Bayman, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I would love it if you would come to the Philippines and do a review of my car, a Geely Coolray Sport. You'd have a great holiday too. I'd like to visit actually, I've never been there. I really enjoy your posts. It's a touch of home because I hail from Manchester. Oh, very good, right. Let me just Google what a Geely, what was it? Oh, that's quite a cool looking thing. It's like a sort of a small SUV thing. It's quite good looking. Are they electric? I don't know. I don't know much about them. I do know Geely, or the Geely Group, owns Volvo now, so it might be very Volvo-y. Trish Hartland has said, congratulations on the 100 million views. I love your channel. My question is, what's been your favourite and least favourite car that you've had on the channel? And I'd love to see a video of the funny customer stories. I really enjoyed the last one. I've got to be careful when I do this because some people kind of misinterpret that and think that I'm just mocking people or whatever, but so I've got to tread carefully with that one. With regards to my favourite or least favourite car, I still get a bit of a buzz when I'm in something different. A lot of the cars that I sell, because of the nature of the stock that I carry, they tend to be very similar, they tend to be the same, so it's usually like a Kia Rio, Kia Ceed, Ford Focus, Vauxhall Mocha. I've had a million of them and now it doesn't really give me a buzz, but if I get in something different, it can be old, cheap car, it doesn't need to be expensive or something quick or something. I do still get that buzz with cars, and that's why I'm still doing this job really. So, I mean, one of my favourite cars this year was taking that cheap Fiat Panda down to Spain, which I did in January this year. Paid £250 for it and then drove it all the way down to Malaga. So yeah, probably that. Least favourite, probably that semi-automatic Citroen Picasso thing that I scrapped recently. Hateful cars, horrible cars. Sid 3300, thoughts on the MG ZS, the MGR one, not the horrible modern SUV. That's the one that's based on the Rover 75, isn't it? They look cool. I don't like them really. I don't like the Rover 75. It's just a sportier Rover 75. I wouldn't want one, thank you. Steve Eggington 535 has asked, hi Matt, as a Jag fan yourself, what do you think of Jaguar's reimagined strategy to make upmarket purely electric SUVs in the future? Will this alienate Jaguar's traditional customer base? Yes, it will, 100%. Will people with the resources to buy Bentley, Astons, Porsches seriously consider a Jaguar instead? I don't know what's going on at Jaguar. I think they've lost the plot really. Yeah, the fact that we've got no F-Type, no XK, no XJ, they're just going to be I heard as well that they're closing down, or they're distancing themselves from the Land Rover dealerships. So I think they're going sort of online only, which is weird, and it's just going to be electric SUVs. It's not, can't imagine Inspector Morse driving an electric I-Pace, can you? So no, I don't know what's going on at Jaguar, but I wish I were in charge of Jaguar because I think I'd sort it out for them. I think we've got time for a couple more before I've got to go to the airport. So, Mohammed A has asked, hi Matt, what are your thoughts on the Hyundai Getz? I haven't driven one for a long time now actually, but whenever I had one, in the early days of me having a forecourt, I had quite a few of them. They're always pretty good cars. Quite cheap and plasticky inside, but really reliable. Yeah, they were good cars. When I lived in Spain, they were very popular as well with rental companies and stuff. So yeah, you can't really go wrong if you can find a decent one. Right, I think this will have to be the last one then. Gavin Moore, how many pies do you have your fingers in? Cars, properties, friends, businesses, etc. You always look successful and it's inspiring. Do you advise to speculate to accumulate? Yeah, you've got to. That's the only way to kind of build and grow, absolutely. But you also reach a limit where you think, I've got too much going on, it's not always worthwhile. Like the Raffle Shack thing, I can only do so much. And sometimes it's just not worth your time. So yes, it's worth, you've got to speculate to accumulate, absolutely. Try and diversify. That's what I've always been keen on doing, having as many things going on as possible. But also, remember that you should really play to your strengths and stick to what you're good at and spend your time wisely. I'm learning that. A couple of years ago, I kind of just said yes to everything, which isn't the way forward. But I think I've learned that just in time. So I think that's about it. Thank you to everyone who asked a question. Sorry if I didn't get back to you. There were lots here. Every time I do one of these, the questions just seem to multiply, which is great. So it's a sign that the channel's growing. So yeah, thank you for watching and thank you for 100 million views. I'm truly grateful for that. So have a good weekend and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.